Yo, welcome back to the house where we talk news, celebrities, and hot topics. All right, so this setup is kind of weird, but I'm waiting to either one, get a new lens or get a new camera. I think I want to get a new camera because I want to have two cameras because I want to have a vlog camera because I may start vlogging like my life this year. But listen, I'm waiting to get a lens either way. If whether I just get the lens or just get the whole camera with a lens, I'm waiting to get a lens. Okay, either way, a lens will be bought. Because yeah. Anyways, so listen very quickly. I'm not going to be here for long. Just want to give you guys a couple of clips. I have been thinking about this all day, but why do I feel like Nene Leakes has like a big head? Like her pride just will not, like the door will not close on her pride. It's a very interesting situation because I feel like, okay, remember when she left the show, she was offered 6 episodes. She was real hurt and offended and insulted at the situation. So she ended up quitting. She boycotted the network. This was smack dab in the middle of COVID. People are losing their lives and she is boycotting Bravo. And then about a year or so later, she tries to sue the network talking about discrimination, gender bias, racial bias, etc., etc., etc. Calls Andy Cohen a crackhead, racist, or something like that. Called Wendy Williams a cokehead and called Andy Cohen a racist. Okay. Now time has gone on. Time has gone on. She's had a lot to go on in her life. Her husband passed away. Rest in peace, Greg. And, she moved out of that big old mansion in Duluth, I think it was, and was in the condo. Her son had a lot of health issues. Her other son, her older son, was in and out of jail. She had closed down the Nene Lounge. Like, she's had so much going on. The what are those things in Sugarloaf? The mall, the boutique, Swag Boutique, those things closed down. So she had a lot of stuff going on in the past few years that she has not been onto the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Probably, I would think that since she left, her life has been way more interesting, than it was her last few seasons onto the show. Anyways, so I say all of that to say, I think the downfall of Nene Leakes and her relationship with NBC Universal and Andy Cohen and the rest of the girls at Bravo is the fact that she just could not believe that the network was moving in a direction that did not include her. She did not feel valued. She felt like replaceable, basically. Hence the lawsuit and hence why she was so offended at the fact that they would only offer her 6 episodes. So anyways, so over time, she's been, rebuilding her career. She said that she was blackballed and, she's done a few shows and now she has a contract with NBC Universal and she did the Emmys. Now she's going to do the Oscars. And so it seems like she's rebuilding trust with NBC Universal. She's getting a big head. I think she's closer than ever before on getting back onto the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think we should start with Traitors, but listen, different conversation for a different day. And it just seems like the ego is coming back. She was humbled and now the ego is back. Okay. So let me go ahead and play this.
Did you make up with Andy Cohen? Is that a possibility? Are y'all in meetings, conversations, thoughts, anything?
We're not in meetings. We did settle our dispute. I don't know if I'll go back to Housewives. I don't know what that looks like for me, but I won't say never. If they got a check that's got 0, 0, 0. I do miss the trips. I do miss the check. I don't miss the arguments. And I felt like if I was there, they would have to put certain girls around me. Mm-hmm. Like all of those girls that are there, and I don't even know who they are.
So there was nothing wrong with what she said up until the very end. Of course she needs to be paid. She is Nene Leakes, for crying out loud. So of course, like the check needs to have zeros on it. Duh, that's a no-brainer. Of course, like she needs to be open and transparent and vice versa because we don't want to repeat, right? We don't want her back onto the show. And then she feels like there's a gender bias and a racial bias. And then she's out there calling Andy Cohen, the face of the network, a crackhead, and Wendy Williams, who at this particular point in time, according to the Guardian, is incapacitated. We don't need her going on the TV talking about she's a crackhead. We don't need her going to change.org, sending out petitions to her fans talking about boycott the network. Like, if we get back onto the network, we have to leave all of those shenanigans behind, right? So those are some of the things that need to happen in order for her to come back. But it's the fact that she was like, oh, well, if I come back, then I'm going to need like the right women around me. What was her exact words? Hold on.
Did you make up with Andy Cohen? Is that a possibility? Y'all
missed the check. And I felt like if I was there, they would have to put certain girls around me.
They would have to put certain girls around me. And so to me, when I heard that, it kind of gave off this vibe like, okay, well, if I'm back, if I decide to come back, if I decide to grace Bravo with my presence, then they're going to have to put certain women around me. Okay, I'm going to have to know these women. I'm going to have to vet these women. Like she's acting like Kenya when they were trying to reboot the show this past season for season Sweet 16. And she calling up the producers talking about, this lady has a fake home. This lady doesn't live in Atlanta. This lady doesn't have a real man. When she ain't have none of that shit when she came on. And that's where Nene and a lot of these girls get sidetracked because they feel like they're bigger than the show and they feel like they can dictate certain things and they feel like they can produce it. No, honey, you're not a producer. You don't have a stake. You don't have ownership in this show, nor do you have any ownership in Bravo. You are an employee. You are an independent contractor. You are a cast member, and that's all you are. You're not a producer. You're a cast member. No, we're not going to build the show around you. No, you don't need a certain type of whoever around you. No, you're going to be, if you are so blessed and lucky to be asked by Bravo, okay, because Andy Cohen hasn't been saying your name and the network really ain't been saying nothing either about you, right? The only person that's been talking about Bravo is Lenithia for years and years and years. She was crying on the internet. She was crying. And she was saying, well, they just need to have the conversation. Like they need to come to the table and Andy Cohen just needs to talk to me and I just want a meeting. They won't even take a meeting. So since it seems like you have been really wanting to be back on more than they have wanted you back on, I'm going to say if you are so lucky enough to be asked back, then you need to fit in. What is it? What's the saying? You need to get in where you fit in. You need to get in where you fit in, sis. I need to have certain people around me. No, if you decide to come back, you're going to film with who they tell you to film with, period. I'm sick of these girls acting like, okay, this is my show. This is not your show. Is this the house that you built? Sure. It's not your show though. When I see executive producer Lenithia Leaks is not in Flashing Lights, I'm sorry, she's not in the credits. In that way, at least. I think in this clip, she goes on to say, oh, because I don't really know those girls. Okay, well, you'll get to know them. That's what the show is about. You'll get to know them. If they want you to film with Brit Edie, you'll film with her. If they want you to film with Kelly, you'll film with her. If they want you to film with Angela Oakley, Shamia, Phaedra, Portia D. Williams, you will do it because that is your job. I need to have a certain type of woman around me because I don't even know those women because that it doesn't matter. You film with who they tell you to film with. And that's why we went down the wrong road because your head got too big. And now I'm kind of feel like she's smelling herself. She feeling herself. She thinks she all that in a bag of chips, which she is. But not having that humble mindset got us here in the first place. I need a certain type of woman. No, you need to film with who they tell you to film with, period. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to create a great day. Let me know how y'all feel about the situation. I know a lot of y'all are going to disagree. Let's talk about it. Bye.